Diddy took me to his late night party where all the celebrities were present. Jay-Z and Beyonce were also there. Jay-Z tried to touch me inappropriately. Jay-Z and Diddy together held a sacrificing party.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
to us, Black excellence.
that had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Now, I bet you want to know why Jay-Z and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Well, Jay-Z had a problem. He right there in the corner, by the way. Jay-Z has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see Jay-Z in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, Jay-Z with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, Jay-Z, you must have known what Diddy was on. But Jay-Z has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, marry who? And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who, listen closely, was Jay-Z's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But Jay-Z decided to get a head start. Now, there was absolutely no proof that Jay-Z went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture. But apparently Jay-Z wasn't successful and Dame Dash started dating her when she was 21. Now, what does this all have to do with Diddy? It's the secrets. It's the, like what happened to Diddy, making people wonder. Nas came out, well, he technically didn't come out and say this, but while he was having his legendary beef with Jay-Z, he's doing a radio interview and he's saying, it's weird that Jay-Z be working with people that need a permission slip to marry somebody, R. Kelly. But again, rumors, kind of like what was happening to Diddy. But then this lawyer comes out and says, boy, do I got some news for y'all. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Now, he's going after Diddy. Specifically, listen closely, anyone that Diddy might have done something to, or anyone who's watched Diddy do some of these things and stayed silent about it. Now, first of all, the lawyer's taking calls from anyone. So theoretically, anyone could just call trying to get some money saying Diddy did this to me, Diddy should pay me. But in the lawyer's defense, I'm sure he's looking for people with proof. Honestly, I don't know him. He could be trash. Anyway, what he said next is what got people interested. He said, and I got some names. He said some wild names. Some names that will blow your mind. He's selling this. He's saying, yo, y'all finna wild out when you hear these names. I'm not gonna say it now, but y'all finna wild out. So people are like, Now, in Beyonce's case, it's just because she's married to Jay-Z and she's been in the industry for like 20 years. People are like, you must have known something. But that's all people have. Now, in Jay-Z's defense, he's famously all about the money. As far as we've seen, he's always been around Diddy for like a public event or when money's involved.
Y'all, word on the streets is that Diddy's own adopted daughter, the one he raised like blood, has stepped into the spotlight, and she's not whispering. Ashton Kutcher is being singled out by her accusatory finger. Ashton Kutcher, that is. According to her, he didn't sit on his hands. Rather, she asserts that he provided assistance. Seriously though, the second word comes out about her and her story. Everyone's looking in one particular direction. Mila Kunis. It seems she was also aware of it. However, today we will explore in great detail how Ashton Kutcher, who has become a symbol of anti-trafficking activism in Hollywood, may have been concealing the most sinister truths about Diddy's notorious parties, all the while putting up a heroic act and denying his apparent involvement in the problem. This might lead to federal indictments if even half of it is true. Be careful what you wish you heard next, because it may change your opinion of you got punked Ashton Kutcher forever.
Hey, this is Ava Baroni. Well, should I say Ava Combs. This is Ava hanging out with the Combs twins at an early age. Here go Ava again. As y'all can see, Ava is a part of the family. Apparently, Ava is speaking out on the things that she experienced hanging out with the Combs. I haven't got that video yet, but we will have it soon on the Buzz. So this video I'm about to pull up is a TikToker that's going viral telling us about Ava Combs. Let's get into that.
But let's rewind a little bit, shall we? It was thick as thieves between Ashton Kutcher and Diddy before all the drama with the lawsuits, raids, freak-off parties, and broken non-disclosure agreements. More than simply encounters with the paparazzi on the red carpet. No, I'm talking real friendship. Back in the mid-2000s, they remade themselves as part of a modern-day Rat Pack with Jamie Foxx. So Ashton and Diddy were on James Corden's show talking about how they met, and let's just say it wasn't exactly the loveliest moment. Diddy goes, "I heard you were going to punk me, and I don't think that's a good idea." And Ashton basically shot back with, "I don't think that's the way you said it."
The way you said it.
But instead of throwing hands or causing drama, they ended up being besties. Go figure. They trained for some marathons together, and Diddy even said Ashton motivated him to run the New York City Marathon. But what individuals ignored was where the training was happening: in private gyms, penthouses, and at Diddy's parties, surrounded by people who had been subpoenaed left and right. Then Ashton Kutcher turns up on Hot Ones, and when asked about those iconic Diddy parties, his reply wasn't conventional. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said. Then he stopped, thought for a bit, and said, "I can't tell that one either."
Party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
You could almost see the flashbacks in his eyes, and now that we know those parties actually involved children, sex trafficking, NDAs, and celebrities being taped without consent, that pause surely hits different. But remember when Ashton Kutcher was being praised like he was some kind of savior for those who had been trafficked? He was out here testifying in Congress, sobbing up on the stand about child exploitation. He even co-founded Thorn, an organization focused on combating child trafficking and internet sexual abuse. He claimed he'd seen FBI raid footage of horrific things no one should ever see. His objective was to be that Hollywood star who actually stepped up and did something real about it. People believed in him, they trusted him, but now those same folks are looking at Ashton Kutcher with the side eye, because how are you going to be in the rooms where it was supposedly happening and pretend you didn't see anything? Well, one user on X put it plainly: nobody going to ask the outspoken celebrity advocate against human trafficking, Ashton Kutcher, how he missed his literal BFF, Diddy, being a trafficker. Y'all, this isn't a stretch. That's a real-life question, because Ashton Kutcher wasn't simply near Diddy. He was in his circle. They exercised, traveled, and partied together. And get this, folks are now suggesting that Ashton knew about Diddy's parties because he was in them. But this is when it gets even weirder. Diddy's adoptive daughter, let's just call her Ava for now, allegedly told close pals that Ashton wasn't just around, he was involved. She said Ashton Kutcher would draw her away during these events, introduce her to industry buddies, and make her feel like she was intended to be there. And y'all, this is where the grooming angle comes in, because she had just begun out, looked up to Ashton as a guide, even considering him as a big brother. But behind closed doors, whispers imply that Ashton Kutcher was playing a part in something far bigger, possibly helping set the stage for Diddy's actions.
Did some digging around and found some old photos that go back many years. She was with him when she was very young, so she is in fact his adopted daughter. Some are saying this woman in the background here is her mother, but nothing is confirmed. You can see she's been with him in interviews, hanging out with Diddy's daughters. She was seen everywhere with Diddy's daughter. Here's another one. And I mean, they go way back. And here's a few more. So it shows that yes, indeed, they spent time together and they grew up together. This is in fact their sister and Diddy's adopted daughter. However, I found a video that is so suspect. I want you guys to check it out and tell me what you think.
This is my life. I have a lot of cars now. This is because I am a great father, but I'm sleeping with the girl. Tell me, who do you have a crush on? Tell daddy the truth.
I don't know about you guys, but that video and the way Diddy's acting raises so many questions. So many are asking, where's Ava Baroni Combs now? This is the most recent photo I found. There's another one I'm gonna show you, which is this one right here, but sisters and Diddy are nowhere to be found.
And speculations also imply that Mila Kunis might have realized something wasn't quite right, but chose to keep quiet, likely owing to her work and public image. Sources close to her indicate that while Mila would never explicitly confront Ashton about it, she was known to make jokes about the females surrounding him, hinting they were far too young for his company. And now people are starting to make the dots, because there's video proof of Ashton saying creepy stuff on camera, like the time he joked about waiting for Hilary Duff to turn 18.
Hilary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins. Any 15-year-old.
Is Diddy's adoptive kid the missing Ava Baldwin? Their age progression lines up with the same face shape and how she was on the streets. But could there really be any truth to this? People are worried, and Ava's safety is at the heart of it all. Let's go further into this stunning relationship and see what we unearth.
Saw me and decided to pick me up and said to come inside and play with his kids.
Yeah, now according to insiders, this was all a joke. It was streamed during the COVID-19 lockdown, and as everyone was going a little stir crazy, Combs has said in the video that he had gotten permission from Ava's mom to legally adopt her, but to be clear, that never really happened. Ava Baroni apparently was good friends with the twin daughters that Combs had had with Kim Porter, Delilah and Jessie. Kim was reportedly good friends with Ava's parents, so she was around all the time. She was often photographed with the twins. Now, Ava has been quiet on social media recently, apparently even removing her Instagram. And for what it's worth, the username at one point was Ava Baroni Combs.
You already know it's going to be total mayhem when Diddy's adoptive daughter, Ava Barron, takes the witness stand in the Diddy trial, right? The rumors on the streets suggest as much. The rumor mill has it that Ava apparently has a huge archive of receipts, which is making his situation go sour quickly. Diddy made a huge fuss in 2020 when he rescued her from homelessness. However, she vanished entirely not long after that. Up until this point, people seldom mentioned her at all. Rumor has it that Ava has much to say about Justin and Christian, Diddy's kids, so it's clear she's not only targeting Diddy. Does this mean that Ava will now reveal that Justin and Christian are as evil as their dad? And did they truly help Diddy damage young females, including Ava? Things are about to become tough, so cling on to your baby hairs. Okay, so I don't know if y'all remember this, but back in 2020, during the epidemic, Diddy unexpectedly announced that he was adopting a little white girl called Ava Barron. He boasted to his Instagram followers that he was rechristening her Ava Barron Combs, and even went live to introduce her. The entire incident occurred so quickly and seemed so out of the blue that most people either missed it or simply went on. Since then, Ava's name hasn't really surfaced much, to be honest. That certainly explains why no one ever addressed her again. At least not until Diddy's legal difficulties began blowing up, and all these other dubious aspects about him started coming to light. At the time, Diddy's announcement appeared like a beautiful and unselfish move. You know, taking in a child at such a rough moment when so many kids were in need. Folks congratulated him for it, believing he was truly doing something wonderful. But today, with all the horrific material coming out about him, the same video strikes extremely differently. What previously seemed like a feel-good moment now has many giving it the side eye. And to be truthful, it wasn't the only thing that raised eyebrows. What really made folks stop was Diddy comparing his adoption to Madonna's.
Tell us about Diddy. Like, this isn't her thing. Like, he's not her dad. She was a family friend.
But to know, where has this little girl been? Because we haven't seen her around. So my detective skills, I went to find her TikTok and try to see the videos she's been posting. So one, all of her comments for all of her videos are all right. And this particular video that I'm about to show next, I don't know why, but you know, us clairvoyant people, it really spoke to me. She basically said that this is where all your answers are. Showing Star Island. Is this girl trapped on Star Island right now so we can't see her? Can she not leave?
What?
It's undoubtedly had folks wondering that Diddy would chose to model his adoption after Madonna's, particularly considering all the controversy attached to her adoption history. That alone says a lot. But what's really attracting notice today is the weird mood in the video he posted, especially given just his boys were present. Fans have begun questioning it. If Ava apparently wanted to hang out and play with his girls, why weren't they on the video? Why was it only the boys? The entire arrangement seems a bit weird, but the thing that's truly frightening is that Ava herself appeared obviously uncomfortable. Her body language, her expression, something simply seemed odd to a lot of folks watching.
I want you to tell them the story about how I adopted you. But you still have beautiful parents but you're my child also. But please tell the story.
So, I was on the streets, and then Papa Combs decided that he would like to be a caring man. So then he saw me and decided to pick me up and said to come inside and play with his kids.
Ava, that's like a little bit like borderline suspect. I don't want nobody, we want to get it clear. I adopted you like Madonna adopted kids and everybody else adopted kids. Charlize Theron, everybody that's ever adopted Sandra Bullock.
That prompted a flurry of suspicion. Was that simply an odd, uncomfortable moment? Or was there anything more going on behind the scenes? Some others say the vibe in that room was off from the beginning. And when you throw in the fact that Diddy's boys come with their own baggage, Justin being listed in Lil Rod's lawsuit, and Christian having with legal troubles of his own, you start to wonder whether anything awful happened to Ava. But what's really making folks anxious is how Ava suddenly vanished after that video. Aside from a handful of fleeting appearances with Diddy's twin children, Jesse and Delilah, she was very much gone. No more family photographs, no updates, no follow-ups, nothing. It was crickets from her, and for someone who was calling him Papa Combs, you'd expect to see her around a lot more. Now that all these troubling claims are coming out, talks of abuse and how women were treated, people are beginning to truly rethink what went place. Ava's unexpected absence doesn't seem random anymore. What previously appeared like a beautiful adoption moment now seems more like a mystery, and a lot of individuals are questioning whether there was more going on behind the scenes than anybody let on. So, rumor is Diddy didn't just abuse Ava, people are alleging he used her. A lot of people believe the entire adoption thing wasn't true and that it was simply a PR maneuver. By now, y'all have definitely heard that Diddy's daughters physically broke down in court after one major bombshell announcement, but that's not the whole story. Trust me when I tell you, it's worse than anybody thought. While it's true that the girls literally walked out during Cassie's emotional, startling, and detailed testimony, the fact is that it was also in that exact time when actions started speaking louder than words. The moment was very raw. One of his kids was obviously shaking, while the other looked absolutely crushed. But it wasn't just them. The entire courtroom was in turmoil. People walked out crying, reporters halted mid-sentence, and even some security had to turn away. Because what Cassie told about Diddy wasn't just wild, it was terribly frightening, devastating, and absolutely out of this world. And just when everyone thought things couldn't get much worse, Cassie mentioned something that left the whole room speechless. She brought up the infamous baby oil, which, if you remember, was already controversial enough. Lo and behold, we didn't even know half of it. Not at all. The manner that Diddy allegedly exploited it is beyond creepy. Beyond nasty. It's the kind of thing that makes your stomach turn. We'll go into exactly what that means in a second, but let's just say it's worse than anyone expected. Make no mistake, Diddy's trial isn't a celebrity confession. This is a full-on reckoning, a moment where the sheen and glitz of Hollywood shatters, and underneath it is nothing but turmoil, secrets, and agony.
Of the Metropolitan Detention Facility, and I'm going to do everything that I can to move this case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me. but everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial, and I'm going to be pushing for that. He's ready, he's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process. But wherever he is, his resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer.
So, if you've been keeping up with Diddy's latest problems, lawsuits, and outrage, brace up, because this part of the story, this is where it all hits the fan. Without further ado, let's break this down carefully.
I was in the courtroom as Cassie was testifying, so let me tell you guys everything that you didn't see or may have not heard, because it's a lot. I will say the most damning part of her testimony for me is when she describes a freak-off where Diddy and another man, an escort, are standing on top of her while she is laying on the floor high off of and they are urinating on her face to the point where she is choking on their pee.
For openers, the courtroom was already tense from the beginning, but the energy transformed the moment testimony began.